How's it going, traders? Hopefully you guys enjoy this weekly stock analysis, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, we're going to start things off with Apple, and as you can see, we are looking at a monthly chart right now. And before we really get into the analysis, I just want to show you very important things. I don't know if you guys can see these dotted lines across the screen, but those are monthly zones. So right here we have a monthly supply zone, and right here we have a monthly demand zone. So as you can see, we came down, reacted off of monthly demand, and then pushed up from monthly demand and reacted off of monthly supply. So right now, monthly supply is in control. I just want to show you guys that before we actually hop down onto the lower time frames. So looking at the weekly chart here, as you remember, reacting off of monthly supply, but we're inside of weekly demand. So it's very possible we could see a move up, and we kind of already have. As you can see here, we reacted off the demand zone, pushed all the way back kind of up to that monthly supply zone, and now we're back into this weekly demand zone. So in my opinion, this is looking pretty weak as far as Apple goes, just based on what I'm seeing. Yes, we are in weekly demand, but I do believe we will probably push down back to this monthly area of demand at about $137, maybe $140 per share, and that's what I think is probably going to happen with Apple. As far as trading it goes, there are a few options, and pretty much the one that stands out to me the most is if you come to a 4-hour chart here, you can clearly see we have a 4-hour downtrend right here, and we have a 4-hour supply zone. So if you want to look for a confirmation trade coming off of that supply zone, you could probably do that on a 15-minute chart if you're into day trading these stocks. So that is definitely one option. The other option is if you come over to a daily chart here, as you can see, we just broke this daily demand, which is going to leave us with a daily supply. And the area that this daily supply is at is actually right about here. So what you could do is you could just, instead of waiting for that 4-hour supply, you could wait for daily supply to be hit and look for a confirmation short coming off of that daily supply zone. And I don't really recommend getting in long right now, even though we are in weekly demand. The only time I would even consider getting in long is if you look at this 4-hour chart, is if we can get something like this taking place where we have a demand zone that takes out the downward trend line and this supply zone, and that would be your confirmation long trade just like that. That is the only time I would ever consider getting in long on Apple right now. All right, now we're going to look at Meta, basically Facebook stock. And as you can see right away, we are on the monthly chart, and this is monthly demand right here. So we are actually reacting off of monthly demand right now. Now this demand zone is tested up, so we could definitely see something like this take place. Since this demand is tested, we could obviously see something like this where we pierce through the demand zone and then push up. It's definitely very possible. I would have to see evidence of that take place first. But just remember, if you are looking for maybe some sort of investment position on Meta, you're getting a huge discount. So even if you're looking to invest long term, this is definitely a decent area to do that, to average down. But as far as we can tell right now, we are in a monthly demand zone. And if you come over and we look at a weekly chart, let's take a look. You can clearly see that there are even some weekly demand zones right here that we are reacting off of. But we do have a weekly downtrend. That is very important. That is what this red circle is all about right there. So we have a weekly downtrend right now, and there is a fresh weekly supply zone right here. So even though we are in monthly demand, and that's pretty important, we still have a very strong weekly downtrend. So if price comes up to this weekly area of supply, you could look for a confirmation short, but obviously that will be for another video because that could be very long time away. But we do have a weekly downtrend. We also have a daily downtrend and a 4-hour downtrend and also a 1-hour downtrend. So in my opinion, it's shorts all the way until we can see evidence that the trend is starting to turn around. And the evidence we would need to stop looking for short positions would be something like this on the 4-hour chart, where we break this significant two supply zones and this downward trend line. And at that point, then I would just say, okay, maybe we're going to start to see price move up, and maybe we're going to start to see an uptrend. But also on the daily chart, the ultimate long signal, in my opinion, would be something like this, where we remove this daily supply and this daily downtrend, and any daily demand zone right there, that would be a fantastic possible trading opportunity. So longs are definitely looking sketchy. you're definitely going to need that confirmation that I was just talking about. But as far as shorts go, I am seeing a few options. If you are a day trader, which let me know if you are in the comments down below, it'd be much appreciated. There are a few zones right here that I'm seeing. There's this 1 hour supply zone, 1 hour supply zone, 1 hour supply zone. Now, technically, this is the highest quality area of supply to look for a 5-minute confirmation off of, but you could also do the same here and here. So that would be decent little areas to look for confirmation trades to the short side. Remember, if you do want all of my zones on a daily basis like this, even for Forex, check out the YouTube Patreon membership. Link is in the description down below. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on Meta. All 4 time frames are trending down. So until further notice, until we can get that change of direction, it's shorts all the way. All right, on to the Tesla analysis here. As you can see in this weekly chart, we are in weekly supply right now. And if you look above, this is actually monthly supply. And we are clearly pushing towards that. So although we are in weekly supply, we could definitely see this roll over. I think that's, very, very possible. I also think what's going to happen is that we push up to this monthly supply and then roll over. And why do I think that's going to happen? Well, we kind of have a weekly downtrend almost. It's not quite. It's almost a little too short to call it a downtrend, but momentum is clearly down if you're looking at this section of price. Obviously, if you're looking at this section, then price is pushing up and the momentum is up. But remember, we are in weekly supply and monthly supply is above. So on Tesla, it's very difficult to tell what's going to happen right now. My mind is telling me that we are probably going to break down lower. But if you look at the daily chart here, momentum is clearly up. It's definitely more visible there. So if you're looking to short, there is a daily supply zone right here. You could look for confirmation coming off of that supply zone like that. That's definitely one option, especially since we're coming off of weekly supply. And that's pretty much all I'm seeing here. Getting in long right now would make me very, very nervous. Even getting in short right now would make me a little nervous too, just based on how I think we're going to push up through the weekly supply to monthly supply. So for me personally, if I was trading this, what I would be doing is waiting for monthly supply to be hit and then looking for shorts on Tesla. And if you are looking for longs, I don't really know what to do. The safest thing to do would just be to look for confirmation however you trade and then go off of that. But as you can see, price is looking pretty weak on the higher time frame. All right, on to Amazon. This is a very, very interesting chart. But first of all, remember, we have a weekly downtrend right now. Weekly supply is basically in control. We didn't quite touch it. We pretty much did. So weekly supply is in control. And what's interesting about this is since we have a weekly downtrend, I want to be looking for shorts. But if you come over to a daily chart here, you can clearly see we are reacting off of daily demand, and we almost reacted off of it again. So I think it's very possible. Well, like I said, I think looking for shorts is the best option based on the weekly downtrend. But since we are reacting off daily demand, I think we could definitely see a push up from this zone. I don't necessarily think we're going to push up, break the high, and create that uptrend. But I definitely think we could at least have a decent move up and then roll over. And who knows, we could even push up to this daily supply and then roll over from here. So there basically is no evidence that we're going to react off this demand and push up and start making all-time highs. And why is there no evidence of that? Well, it's because the weekly trend is down. And I know I said that a few times, but that is why I'm saying there's no evidence of that. So as far as trading it goes, I don't recommend getting in long. If you do want to get in long, this daily chart, this daily demand zone right here, it could be decent to look for 1 minute or 5 minute long trades coming off of that, but I would definitely look to take profits early because I do believe it is going to roll over. As far as shorts go, which is what I would personally be doing, I would wait for this daily demand to be removed. So let's say something like this takes place. We remove this daily demand. We'll probably be left with a daily supply zone right here, and that would be your potential trading setup inside this daily supply. And I will have this zone out for the YouTube and Patreon members if that does take place. So definitely check that out. And that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on Tesla. I would just revolve my trade around that daily demand zone that I've been pointing out. But remember, the overall weekly trend is down and weekly supply is essentially in control. All right, on to AMD Analysis. As you can see on this weekly chart, momentum is clearly down. And this is a very interesting chart for 2 reasons. The first reason is as where price is at right now, this is basically a support level where we've reacted off of it quite a few times, and we're coming in for like the 6th test right now. So in my opinion, I believe a lot of people are probably getting in long right here. And when traders are in long, where are their stop losses at a support level? Well, it's demand level. It's right below the demand, right below the demand or support, whatever you want to call it. And what I find interesting about that is, if you look, let's say traders have their sell orders, aka their stop losses here. If price goes through here, it's going to probably blow through there, which I think is what's going to happen. And where is it going to blow into? Right into this weekly / monthly area of demand. So this monthly zone is right here, as you can see on the dotted lines, and the weekly zone is the green zone that you see. So in my opinion, this is a fantastic buying opportunity down here if you want to get involved to the long side, even for a long-term investment. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So as far as AMD goes, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm not looking to short. I don't really usually short stocks at all. I typically just long-term invest anyways. So if you're looking to trade, day trading, it's probably only shorts in my opinion. I would only be shorting 5-minute, 1-minute, or 15-minute shorts to the downside, however you like to trade. We did miss a setup here. This is my first stock forecast video, but I would have called out this daily supply zone, and you could have looked for confirmation coming off of that, but obviously that has already taken place. So as far as trading goes, like I said, shorts all the way right now, but I'm personally just waiting for this weekly / monthly area of demand to be hit. And if you do want to get in a swing trade to the short side, wherever your stop loss is, the profit target will be basically $61 a share right at this monthly demand, where you could look to take profits and then switch to a long bias at that point. That is my personal opinion on AMD. All right, on to Intel. This is another pretty interesting chart. If you look at this, this is a weekly chart, and as you can tell, price is clearly trending down. We have a lot of downward pressure here, but we are reacting off of weekly demand. But what's more important than that weekly demand is this. If you look at a monthly chart here, we are reacting, or we're basically about to start to react off of monthly demand. Now, this monthly demand is very tested, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean I'm just going to be buying blindly down here. I do not recommend that at all. That is why the majority of retail traders lose, in my opinion. So as far as longs go, we are going to need confirmation, and the best confirmation, unfortunately, is going to be this weekly supply removed, and that could take, months for that to take place. So I wouldn't even consider getting in long until that takes place. So as far as trading setups go, like I said, it's shorts all the way. And as far as I can see, there's not a lot of setups right now. There are a few little 4-hour supply zones right here you could look for potential shorts in. The reason I don't like shorting at a zone like this is because, let's say price pushes up here, we break the trend line right there, and then this 4-hour downtrend is no longer, and so then usually this zone will end up being removed. So if you're going to look to trade these 4-hour areas short on confirmation on lower time frames, confirmation is definitely going to be needed on like a 15-minute chart at most. So that's pretty much all I see here on Intel. We have downtrends on all 4 time frames, so however you like to trade, it's definitely shorts all the way right now until we see the evidence that price is going to start to turn around. Longs are just very, very sketchy right now. For me to even consider getting in long, if you look at this 4-hour chart, I would need to see not only this 4-hour supply and downtrend be removed, but I would also need to see a significant 4-hour uptrend, just like this, where we can draw that trend line. And then at that point, I think looking for day trade longs is okay. But until that, I just don't really recommend getting in long. And even shorting right now is makes me a little bit nervous because we are about to contact monthly demand. So if you do get in short, I would look to take in profits a little bit earlier. It's not like, let's say we got a short position up here on the weekly chart, you wouldn't have to lock in profits so quickly because there is room to monthly and weekly demand. So hopefully that makes sense. Looking at NVDA stock, the weekly chart is clearly trending down here. It's a very, very strong, beautiful downtrend in my opinion. So, but where are we downtrending into? Well, if you come over to a monthly chart, you can clearly see we have some sort of monthly demand right here, but as you can see, we are breaking through that. It does not mean it's removed yet, because if there's a huge move up, I'm not going to call that removed. We still have about 12 days left in the month to decide that, but overall, this is looking very, very weak, and I do not recommend getting in long by any means. So in my opinion, it is shorts all the way, and there are quite a few options for potential short trades. The first thing that I would look at is actually this little 1-hour supply zone right here. So if you are a day trader, this is for day traders only pretty much. Swing trading is definitely fine too, but this is more for day trading. There is a 1 hour supply zone right here. You could look to get involved short in that area, whether you use confirmation or whatever. That is one option. And let's say you do that and you get stopped out or you miss out on the trade. That's fine, because if you come to a 4 hour chart, which is one time frame higher, we have a 4 hour supply zone right here. You could look to potentially short that on a 15-minute chart with confirmation, and even this 4 hour supply zone like that. And let's say that those zones don't work, or maybe you get in on a little bit of trade, a little bit of profit, but then price starts to push up. Well, if you come to a daily chart, we also have a daily downtrend, and there's two fresh daily areas of supply right here. So then you could use these daily supply zones as potential shorting areas. So in my opinion, there's just so many shorting opportunities on NVIDIA right now, and I don't really like to short stocks, but I mean, this is pretty much screaming shorts all the way, and I wouldn't even recommend getting in long until we can see a shift of momentum on the daily chart like that. But until then, I think it's shorts 100%. We just need to wait for those high probability trading setups. All right, on to Disney. As you can see, we had a strong weekly downward momentum, and we actually broke that downward momentum on the weekly chart with this demand zone. And as you can see, we are basically reacting off of this weekly demand zone right now. And does that mean buy? Well, not necessarily. Let's come to a monthly chart and kind of see what's going on. Well, we have monthly demand right here that is in control right now. So in my opinion, buying right now is actually not a horrible idea. And why is that the case? Remember, if price is trending down into monthly demand like this, we don't just want to buy this monthly demand zone. We need confirmation that price is actually turning around. And we actually got the best confirmation of them all. We got a weekly downtrend removed. Now, remember, this weekly downtrend removed is not super strong. We only broke the downward trend line by basically one candle. So in my opinion, this weekly demand zone is kind of weak. So I don't recommend just buying here with a stop loss here. But what I do suggest that you could possibly do, and what I would personally do, is I would be looking for confirmation on lower time frames coming off of that weekly demand zone. And what that's going to look like is something like this. We'd be on a 4 hour chart like this. And as you can see, we have a 4 hour downtrend right here. We also have that 4 hour downward trend line. We actually have a 4 hour supply zone right here like this. So your confirmation to the long side to get in long. And remember, if you don't know what confirmation is, I have a trading tips playlist, link in the description down below, where I break down exactly what I'm looking for confirmation. But just to give a brief example of what the confirmation is going to look like, since we are in weekly demand, we need to go to a H4 chart to look for confirmation, and that is what chart we are on right now. So your confirmation is going to look something like this, where we get this downward trend line removed and this supply zone. Now, we don't really need this supply zone removed for confirmation, but if both are removed, that is even better. So any demand zone that is responsible for removing those supply zones, that would be your 4 hour confirmation. And you could even go one step further and look for even lower time frame trades inside this 4 hour zone. It's, there's a lot to it, but I hope I'm not confusing anybody, but hopefully that makes sense. And remember, I will have that 4 hour zone for all the YouTube and Patreon members that are members. So that's what I'm seeing here on Disney. I think it's a very interesting chart. I think we could see some upside potential. We just need to wait for confirmation, and shorts are definitely off the table right now until we can get that weekly demand removed. All right, last but not least, we are on to Bank of America, and right away, we are on the monthly chart. We are reacting off of a very, very high quality monthly demand zone, in my opinion. So with that being said, I think it's longs all the way, but that doesn't mean we're just going to hop in long. We actually need a significant confirmation, and we're not really going to get it here on the weekly chart, and that's fine. So what we need is the daily confirmation, and we had it. We actually got the confirmation down here on this daily chart. I'm not a fan of this daily demand zone for a few reasons, but the biggest one is that this is a low, so this could be treated as support with a lot of stop losses underneath. So I don't really like to get in long at these areas. So, but if price does push to this daily demand, you could look for a 1 hour confirmation coming off that daily demand. I think that's fine, but I don't recommend just buying with a stop loss like that. We need lower time frame confirmation. So as far as what I would be looking for here on the Bank of America, it's basically there are two options. The first option, actually, you know what? Basically one option. I'm going to get rid of the other one. What I'm going to look for here is for this daily supply zone to be taken out. Well, why this supply zone? Because this supply zone is very fresh. It has not been tested yet. And if we get this supply zone removed like this, we'll also remove that high, and then we will have a daily uptrend. So with that being said, if that happens, that is a very, very strong sign that that is basically a daily confirmation coming off of monthly demand. So that's pretty much all I'm waiting for here on Bank of America. And let's say that happens, your profit margin is very, very large. You'd look for profit margin on the weekly chart, and that profit margin is going to basically be to about $41 or $42 a share. So there's a lot of room for profit there if we do get that confirmation. And I'm pretty confident that this could definitely work out because we're coming off of that high quality monthly area of demand.